you are a professional actor, you may be finding that things are a little bit quiet at the moment. Between COVID and writer strikes and budget cuts and the world just generally being a bit shit, it has led to a somewhat eerie silence within the industry of late. And this may not apply to you, in which case, congratulations, you're getting loads of auditions, you may be getting loads of jobs, and that is fantastic. But for the vast majority, you may be finding that auditions and jobs are a bit slim on the ground at the moment. And if that is you, then this video is for you. Because we're going to go through a couple of things that I think that you should be doing or considering during a time of relative scarcity. The first thing to recognize is it's not just you. I used to get so paranoid and so frustrated thinking I'm the only one not getting auditions. I'm the only one that is not employed. Everybody else around me seems to be getting all of the jobs and all of the opportunities, and I'm sat here, what's wrong with me? And almost getting a sense of entitlement, thinking, why is my agent not getting me 5 auditions a week or 5 auditions a day? Like, I deserve all of this because I'm fantastic and la la. Until I realized that it is not just quiet for me, it is quiet for many. Because the industry is in a bit of a slump. It's not ideal, but it does give you a sense of comfort knowing that you are not the odd one out. The second thing to realize is it's a little bit shit. The industry is not predictable, it's not stable, and it is prone to its ups and downs. And it just so happens that we're currently in a down. But if you want to think optimistically, what goes down must eventually come up. This slump will pass, and at some point you are going to find that there is more and more momentum being created. There will be more auditions coming through. There will be more opportunities to take up. And eventually you are going to be so inundated with these opportunities that you will not know what to do with yourself. But in the meantime, you've got to figure out how you're going to navigate this scarcity, how you're going to maintain yourself through this process, because we are always thinking about longevity. Something that I bang on about in my videos so often is the fact that this is not a sprint, it is a marathon. You want a full-length career. You don't just want a stint on one program, one theatre job. You know, it's this case of you want to have something that is going to be there for the long haul. So here is my advice. Number 1, concentrate on balance. Actors can get burned out just as easily as anybody else in any other field. And it usually comes down to an overwhelming, demanding workload, a lack of time to relax, and a feeling that the cycle will never end. I mean, at this moment in time, you've got the overwhelming workload really working in your favor because there isn't one. Except if you are dedicating all of your time to writing to agents and scouring the internet for opportunities and cursing the world for not giving you said opportunities, if you were just sat in front of your laptop and just staring at it and doing nothing else with your time, if you are reading countless scripts and if you are setting yourself countless self-tape challenges, if you're scouring the internet for who's who and who's casting what and who's doing this and who's connected to who and what's theatre is blah blah blah, that is going to lead to burnout. And maybe you're not actually doing these things. Maybe you were just thinking about these things. Maybe your entire mind is caught up in all of this stuff, and that is going to give you overwhelm. Because if your mind is so busy and you're not giving it any time to relax and have any kind of respite, if your mind is going 24/7 thinking, how am I going to create opportunities for myself? What the fuck do you expect is going to happen? Because worrying is not effective. Action is. But you can't put action into place all of the time, or you are going to get so incredibly knackered and so incredibly sick that you won't be good to anybody. So you got to find balance. You've got to find balance in terms of the action that you are taking. You've got to find balance in terms of the mindset that you are adopting and the thoughts that are going in and out of your head. It is okay to rest. And actors get a really bad rap for this with the whole resting actor thing. But quite frankly, fuck you, because we're human. So if you were one of those people that gets up at the crack of dawn and spends the entire day working on developing your career, start to consider whether it's actually balanced, whether that is sustainable for you. Because in short bursts, yeah, that might give you something, but in the long term, you are going to really suffer. So think about just simple tasks that can be completed each and every day that are going to move the needle forward, that you're actually going to put some things in place that are going to be implementable and also are going to have an effect. But also, don't take up the entirety of your day. Send 1 email to a casting director. Do research for 1 hour. Do a half-hour vocal warm-up. Go to the theatre once every 2 weeks. It doesn't have to be huge tectonic plate shifting shite. It can be small tasks that are going to have a big effect and it will give you so much more time to actually live your life. Because your life is not your career. Your life is your life, and your career is part of that. So that ties into the next point quite heavily, which is find time to relax. Actually, put it into your schedule. I am going to relax here. When so much of our work is self-generated, we have a tendency of taking it home with us. And that's when the work-life balance really kind of bleeds a little bit. You're gonna find that you're gonna be sending emails and doing this, that, and the next thing at 11 o'clock at night, when actually the best use of your time is probably going to be resting. Now, no, I am not saying that you should be resting 100% of the time. No, there are things that you need to be implementing. It is about balance, but prioritizing rest, prioritizing self-care is the thing that is going to give you longevity. In our current society, in our current culture, the idea of hustle is glorified. We're seem to be rewarded, or at least admired, for the fact that we are constantly busy. And I don't know about you, but I don't like being busy all the time. I actually find when I'm resting, that's when my best ideas come out. That's when I find that I can be the most creative, because my mind is just being left alone for a bit. And also, as actors, what we are is a mirror to the world around us. We need to actually experience the world around us in order to take that onto the next project that we go to develop a character. We need to be able to observe the world around us. And we do that by actually going out and getting involved in it, not stuck in front of our laptop, cursing the world for not giving us an audition, going through Spotlight for the 12th time that day. Leave it alone. Go outside, touch some grass, chat to people, pet a dog. Like, it's life. You need to, you are the person, the vessel that actually shows life to an audience. If you're not experiencing life, you've got nothing to pull from. So go out, see some people, get a hobby. Because in the end, the industry does not always love you back. So you gotta kind of love yourself a little bit. And we do this through rest and through play. But if, like some, you are constantly getting itchy feet of, I just need to create something. I had a friend who's in musical theatre who's doing incredibly well now, but went through a bit of a dry spell, and she just baked the whole time. She was making cookies and brownies and muffins and cakes and this and that, because she needed some kind of creative outlet. And she recognized that that was the energy that was flowing through her, that she just needed to create something. If she wasn't able to be on stage, she needed to create in some way. And I think as actors, that is a fantastic trait to have, that we are not just consumers, that we like to actually put something out into the world that gives joy to other people. And again, in this current society, we are all about consuming information, consuming material items, consuming social media. That is exhausting. And all it does is it leads to comparison, because if we are constantly observing things on social media that are consumption based, then we are going to become envious and bitter and thinking, why do I not have that? And then it is a vicious cycle of, I don't have that because I don't have auditions, and I don't have auditions because I'm worthless, and and it doesn't help anyone. So instead of consuming, think about creating. When I was getting back into the industry, I had no credits to my name, I had no experience, and I wasn't represented. So I wrote and had filmed a short film. I produced and starred in a women's show on the Fringe. I did rehearsed readings, and I produced an actor's showcase. Along with that, I learned how to play the ukulele. Along with that, I hike Munros in Scotland. I go wild swimming. I don't just consume from the world. I actually create something. Whether that is just an experience for myself, or whether it is something that I actually create and put out into the world for people to consume. So instead of thinking about how am I going to get someone to give me a job, create something for yourself. Think about the kind of work that you want to be making and go and make some work. Because when I did it, I actually felt so much more connected to the industry and connected to the skills that I had, and it boosted my self-worth, because it was something that I did off of my own back. Now listen, I am not saying that if you are not involved in 500 workshops and doing R&D 23 hours a day and making the next Fleabag, or like, I'm not saying that you're supposed to be doing that to be worthy of calling yourself an actor. It is just something to consider doing whilst you have a little bit of creative downtime. And if you are not feeling a massive tug to create, that is also okay. Concentrate on the rest, concentrate on the balance, concentrate on those tiny steps to move the needle in the direction that you want. Because seriously, there are no winners here and there is no one size fits all. These are just ideas and suggestions of what you could be doing to get yourself out of a funk and navigate a very scarce time within the industry. If there is one big takeaway that I want you to have going away from this video, is that the industry fluctuates. It goes up and down. And as actors, if we want to actually be able to navigate this for the long haul, then we got to find strategies. We've got to find ways to sustain ourselves happily, contentedly within this. Because if you are cursing it and begrudging it, you are going to become bitter. And you've got more of a likelihood of dropping out and doing something completely different because you lost the love for it, as opposed to the industry itself chewing you up and spitting you out. And remember, what goes down must come up. Things will start to happen again. I really hope that you liked this video, and if you did, make sure to subscribe, like the video, share it with other people, drop any comments or questions in the description box below. I'd be delighted to get back to you. But for now, bye.